Chapter 1. Getting a driver license. Colorado treats licensure as a privilege granted after you prove identity, residency, and safe driving competence. The slides that follow lay out every prerequisite, from the written exam to the on-road skills test, so you can prepare, schedule, and pass with confidence. Eligibility and residency requirements. You must be at least 16 years old or hold a minor permit, and a Colorado resident to obtain a Class R driver license. New residents have 30 days to transfer an out-of-state license after establishing residency through work, lease, or continuous 90-day stay. Active duty military stationed in Colorado and their dependents may retain a valid out-of-state license while serving. Written knowledge exam. Computer-based test covers traffic laws, signs, right-of-way, DUI penalties, and safe driving techniques. A score of 80% passes. Study the 2025 Colorado Driver Handbook and take practice exams at mydmv.colorado.gov before scheduling. Failing candidates may retest the next business day, subject to appointment availability. Instruction permit. Issued after passing the written test and vision screening, allows supervised driving with a licensed adult, 21 plus. Minors must hold the permit 12 months, complete driver education, and log 50 hours, 10 night, before skills test eligibility. Permit is valid for 3 years and may be extended once if additional practice is needed. Driving skills test. Conducted by approved third-party testers or select DMV offices, book early as slots fill fast. Bring an insured, roadworthy vehicle. The examiner will check brake lights, horn, tires, windshield, and registration before testing. Scoring focuses on smooth speed control, lane choice, mirror and shoulder checks, signaling 100 feet in town/200 feet on highways, complete stops, and overall awareness. Name and address changes. You have 30 days to update DMV after a legal name change or address move. Failure can invalidate mailed renewal notices. Bring legal proof, marriage license, court order, and 2 residency documents for updates. Address changes may be completed online if your license is within the renewal window and no other changes are needed. Chapter 1 Summary. Pass the written exam, practice diligently under permit restrictions, and arrive road test ready with a safe vehicle. You'll drive away with a Colorado license and full legal privilege. Stay on top of address changes and renewals to keep that privilege intact for years to come. Chapter 2. Minor drivers. Colorado's Graduated Driver Licensing, GDL, system phases in driving privileges for teens, pairing increased freedom with built-in safety nets like curfews and passenger limits. The following slides map each milestone from learner permit through unrestricted license, so young drivers and parents know exactly what to expect. Age 14 and a half, driver education learner permit. Teens may begin classroom driver education at 14 years 6 months, but cannot drive until receiving a learner permit at age 15. Complete a state-approved 30-hour classroom course and obtain a completion affidavit, DR 2956, to present at the DMV. Vision, written knowledge test, and parent/guardian signature on Form DR 2460 are required at issuance. Age 15 to 15 and a half, instruction permit, EDP. Valid for 3 years, must drive only with a Colorado licensed instructor, parent, guardian, or alternate permit supervisor 21 plus seated beside them. No cell phone use while driving except to contact emergency services. Maintain the permit at least 12 consecutive months conviction-free before applying for a license. Age 15 and a half to 16, instruction permit, by the way behind the wheel. If classroom course plus 6-hour by the way training are completed, teens may drive with any licensed adult 21 plus. Proof of by the way enrollment required. Log 50 supervised hours, including 10 nighttime, using the driving log DR 2324. Minor driver license, age 16 to 17. Prerequisites, held permit 12 months, logged 50 hours, completed 6-hour by the way, and passed road test. First 12 months, no passengers under 21 except siblings unless a licensed adult 21 plus rides along. Curfew, no driving midnight, 5 a.m. for first 12 months unless accompanied or traveling to from work, school, or medical necessity with signed statement. Seatbelt and cell phone rules. All occupants must be properly restrained. Driver responsible for passengers under 16. Drivers under 18 are prohibited from using wireless phones, handheld or hands-free, except to contact police or fire in an emergency. Violation results in a primary offense citation, fines and points. Point penalties and extensions. First traffic conviction within first 12 months extends passenger and curfew restrictions additional 6 months. Second conviction extends restrictions another 6 months. Third may trigger license suspension under GDL point thresholds. Accumulating 6 points in 12 months or 7 during the license period suspends a minor's license. Parent/guardian responsibilities. Sponsor must certify the 50-hour log and may cancel the minor's license by written request until the driver turns 18. Insurance rates typically drop after successful completion of driver education and 1 year citation-free driving. Upgrading to adult license, age 18 plus. On the 18th birthday, curfew, passenger, and cell phone restrictions expire automatically. No additional testing if the minor license is valid and unexpired. Simply renew at normal cycle with new photo and fee. Chapter 2 Summary. Colorado's GDL stages teen driving freedom, earn trust with practice hours, clean records, and you roll smoothly from supervised permit to unrestricted license at 18. Parents, log every mile and model good habits. Teens, respect curfews, passengers, and phones. Your license and life depend on it. Chapter 3. How you can lose your license. Colorado keeps dangerous drivers off the road by suspending, revoking, or canceling their privileges for points, DUIs, unpaid judgments, and more. This deck explains every pathway to license loss and the costly steps to win it back so you can steer clear of the pitfalls from day one. Point accumulation suspensions. Colorado's points chart revokes any adult license that hits 12 points in 12 months or 18 points in 24 months. Probationary, minor, licenses suspend at 9 points in 12 months, 12 points in 24 months, or 14 points during the license period. High-value violations, 12 points for leaving crash with injury, 8 points for reckless driving, 4 points for minor speeding 10 to 19 miles per hour over. Alcohol and drug offenses, DUI/DWAI. First DUI greater than or equal to 0.08 BAC triggers 9-month revocation, mandatory ignition interlock, and alcohol education. DWI 0.05 to 0.079 BAC costs 8 points and possible jail, even though under the DUI limit. Refusing a chemical test violates implied consent law, automatic 1-year revocation independent of court verdict. Express consent and revocations. DMV imposes swift administrative revocation within 7 days of notice for BAC or refusal, separate from criminal court. You must request a hearing within that 7-day window or the revocation begins automatically. Financial responsibility and judgments. Failure to satisfy civil crash judgments over $1,000 leads to indefinite suspension until paid or settled. Driving without insurance earns immediate suspension and SART 2 requirement for 3 years on reinstatement. Driving while suspended/revoked. Operating a vehicle during suspension adds 12 points, extends revocation, and may upgrade to a criminal misdemeanor. Habitual offenders, 3+ major offenses, or 10+ minor in 5 years, lose privileges for 5 years and face felony if caught driving. Administrative cancellations. DMV may cancel for false application information, failed re-examination, or medical conditions rendering operation unsafe. Driving on a canceled license carries the same penalties as driving while revoked. Reinstatement requirements. Serve out suspension period, pay $95 reinstatement fee, file SART 2 proof if ordered, and install ignition interlock when mandated. Some revocations require retaking written and road tests if the license has lapsed more than 1 year. Complete court-ordered programs like Level 1/2 alcohol education before DMV will clear the record. Chapter 3 Summary. Points, alcohol, insurance lapses, and courtroom debts all funnel to one result: license loss and steep reinstatement hurdles. Stay sober, insured, and citation-free, and the only DMV line you'll face will be for routine renewals, not reinstatement hearings. Chapter 4. Seatbelt laws. Seatbelts are Colorado's simplest, cheapest crash survival technology, yet thousands still skip them and pay with injuries, fines, and lives. These slides detail the statewide requirements, enforcement levels, and correct usage techniques that turn a simple click into your first line of defense. Primary versus secondary enforcement. Colorado enforces seatbelt use as a secondary law for adults. Officers must observe another violation first, but child restraint violations are primary, meaning you can be stopped solely for that offense. Although secondary enforcement applies, statewide click it or ticket campaigns often pair seatbelt checks with speed or DUI patrols, raising detection odds. Who must buckle up? Drivers and every front seat passenger, regardless of age, must wear lap shoulder belts properly adjusted across hips and chest. Rear seat passengers under 17 also must buckle. Adults 18+ in the rear are exempt but strongly encouraged. Drivers are responsible for ensuring passengers under 16 are properly restrained. Citations, fines, and points apply to the driver, not the child. Child passenger safety law. 0-1 year and under 20 pounds, rear-facing car seat in back seat. 1-4 years and 2040 lbs, forward-facing seat with harness in back seat. For 7 years and under 4 feet 9 inches, booster seat until seat belt fits naturally over collarbone and low on hips. 8-15 years, must wear seat belt in all seating positions. Boosters recommended until proper fit is achieved. Exemptions and special cases. Vehicles not originally equipped with belts, e.g., some classic cars, are exempt, but must not carry children under 16 in front seat if no belt exists. Rural mail carriers, newspaper delivery, and emergency responders may be exempt while actively performing duties. Medical exemptions require a physician's signed statement carried in the vehicle explaining why belt use is inadvisable. Penalties and points. Adult belt citation. Base fine $65 with surcharges. No driver license points. Child restraint violation. $82 fine plus 2 driver license points against the driver. Failure to appear or pay escalates to license suspension and collections fees. Correct belt fit and common errors. Let belt low across hip bones, not stomach, to prevent internal injuries during a crash. Shoulder belt across chest and over collarbone. Never tuck under arm or behind back, doing so can cause spinal or skull injuries. Remove bulky coats before buckling children. Slack compromises snug fit vital to crash energy management. Chapter 4 Summary. Colorado's belt laws pair education with fines because unbelted occupants die at quadruple the rate of those who click in. Wear yours properly every ride, model the habit for kids, and you convert a $65 ticket risk into zero-cost life insurance. Chapter 5. Alcohol and drugs. Even one drink, hit, or pill can transform a skilled driver into an unpredictable hazard. Colorado's crash data prove it. The slides ahead decode BAC limits, drug impairment rules, and ignition interlock mandates so you never gamble your license or someone's life on a buzz. How alcohol affects driving ability. Alcohol depresses the central nervous system, slowing reaction time, narrowing peripheral vision, and boosting risky decision-making. By 0.05 BAC, DWAI threshold, steering precision drops. At 0.08 BAC, DUI, judgment, vision, and balance degrade catastrophically. Only time clears alcohol, coffee, showers, or miracle hangover cures do nothing to lower BAC. Blood alcohol concentration, BAC, limits. Drivers 21 plus. DWI at 0.05 to 0.079 BAC, 8 points, and DUI at greater than or equal to 0.08 BAC, automatic revocation. Commercial drivers, 0.04 BAC triggers DUCMV with federal out-of-service order and CDL disqualification. Under 21, 0.02 to 0.049 BAC violates Colorado's zero-tolerance statute, immediate 3-month revocation. Marijuana and other drugs. 5 nanograms of active THC per milliliter blood establishes DUI marijuana presumption, but lower levels can still prove impairment. Prescription medications, opioids, sleep aids, muscle relaxants do not operate machinery, warnings enforceable like alcohol DUIs. Combining THC or meds with any alcohol multiplies impairment. Prosecutors may charge for each substance present. Express consent and chemical testing. Driving in Colorado means you consent to breath, blood, or urine tests when lawfully arrested for impairment. Refusing a test triggers 1-year license revocation, first refusal, mandatory ignition interlock, and designation as persistent drunk driver. CDL holders face immediate out-of-service order and longer disqualification for refusals. DUI, DWAI, and UDD penalties. First DUI, 9-month revocation, up to 1-year jail, $600 to $1,000 fine, 4896 hours community service, alcohol education, ignition interlock. First DWAI, 8 points, up to 180 days jail, $200 to $500 fine. Underage drinking and driving, UDD 3-month revocation, community service, alcohol class, and reinstatement SR22. Ignition interlock program. After first DUI or refusal, drivers may reinstate early with full-time interlock for 8 months minimum. Failures extend time. A PDD, persistent drunk driver. Designation mandates 2 years interlock and level 2 alcohol education/therapy. Tampering or driving a non-interlock vehicle results in license revocation and criminal charges. Open container and metro area DRCOG laws. It is illegal for driver or passenger to possess an open alcohol container or consume marijuana in the passenger area of a vehicle on a public road. Local ordinances may fine for visible consumption even when parked on public property. Keep open bottles in trunk or locked glove box to avoid citations. Plan ahead strategies. Designate a sober driver, use rideshare/taxi, stay overnight, or schedule gatherings within walking distance. Friends, don't let impaired friends drive. Offer a couch, call a ride, or take the keys. Track drink counts. 1 standard drink per hour maintains safer BAC for most adults, but 0 is the only guarantee. Chapter 5 Summary. Colorado's message is blunt. Drive sober or face swift administrative revocation, steep court penalties, and the expensive interlock and SR22 insurance. Choose a sober ride every time, and the only buzz you'll feel is the pride of protecting lives, including your own. Chapter 6. Before you drive. Pre-trip routines, seat, mirrors, tire checks sound mundane until a blown tire or blind spot surprise turns routine into emergency. Review these inspection and adjustment steps so every engine start begins with your car and body perfectly prepped for the miles ahead. Pre-trip walk-around inspection. Circle the vehicle looking for leaking fluids, low tires, broken glass, and obstacles under or behind wheels. Confirm license plates, registration sticker, and emissions tags are present and current. At night or before long trips, verify all exterior lights, headlights, tail lights, turn signals, and brake lamps illuminate. Adjusting seat, wheel, and mirrors. Sit high enough to see at least 12 seconds ahead, with hip-to-pedal distance allowing a slight knee bend when pedals are fully depressed. Maintain 10 inches minimum between your chest and steering wheel airbag hub for safe deployment. Set mirrors with the BG blind zone glare elimination method. Inside mirror frame's rear window, side mirrors show only a sliver of your vehicle. Seat belts and airbag synergy. Wear lap belt low across hip bones and shoulder belt across chest. Never tuck under arm or behind back. Children under 13 should ride in rear seats, even with airbags off. Front seat force is greater in a crash. Airbags deploy at up to 200 miles per hour. Belts hold you in the sweet spot to meet the bag instead of sliding underneath. Child safety seats and boosters. Rear-facing seat until age 2 or until reaching seat's height/weight max. Forward-facing harness until at least age 4. Booster seat until seat belt fits naturally. Lap belt low on hips, shoulder belt across collarbone, knees bending at seat edge. Install seats using either latch anchors or seat belts, not both unless manual allows, and tighten so seat moves less than 1 inch at belt path. Tire safety and inflation. Check pressure monthly on cold tires. Underinflation causes blowouts and cuts fuel economy. Replace tires when tread reaches 230 seconds inch, penny test, or when wear bars flush with shoulder. Carry a properly inflated spare or tire repair kit and no jack points before roadside emergencies. Fluid levels and dashboard alerts. Check engine oil, coolant, brake, power steering, and washer fluids monthly. Top off to full marks. Yellow dash lights warn of issues requiring attention soon. Red lights indicate immediate safety problems. Stop safely and diagnose. Battery, oil pressure, or temperature warnings mean shut off engine promptly to avoid catastrophic damage. Visibility aids. Replace wiper blades twice a year, streaks or chatter signal worn rubber. Use defroster and AC together to remove interior moisture rapidly. Keep inside of windshield clean, film scattering doubles glare at night. Cargo and secure loads. Distribute weight evenly, heavy items low and forward to maintain center of gravity. Secure objects, an unrestrained item weighing 10 pounds hits with 300 pounds force in a 30 miles per hour crash. Roof loads raise rollover risk. Follow manufacturer roof rack limits and recheck straps every gas stop. Technology checks. Set phone to do not disturb while driving before shifting to drive. Program navigation destinations and playlists while parked. Voice prompts minimize gaze shifts. Familiarize yourself with driver assistance features, lane keep, adaptive cruise, but remember they support, not replace, attentive driving. Chapter 6 Summary. A 5-minute pre-flight, walk around, seat and mirror set, belt click, systems check, turns breakdowns and blind spot scares into non-events. Make it habit, and every mile starts with full mechanical readiness and maximum driver comfort. Chapter 7 Basic Driving. This chapter translates car control theory into practical, repeatable actions, from smooth starts to precise stops, that anchor every advanced maneuver you will ever perform. Treat the upcoming skills as daily warm UPS. Master them now, and lane changes, merges, and mountain switchbacks will feel effortless later. Starting and moving forward. With foot on brake, shift to drive, signal if leaving a curb, check mirrors and over-shoulder blind spot, then release parking brake. Press the accelerator gently. Abrupt throttle transfers weight rearward and brakes traction on wet pavement. Glance far down the lane. Steering follows vision, so the car tracks straight without constant corrections. Steering techniques. Use 9 and 3 hand position for maximum leverage and airbag clearance while cruising. Employ push-pull steering through moderate curves, keeping both hands in contact and avoiding arm cross that can tangle in a crash. Reserve hand over hand for very sharp, low-speed turns such as parking lot aisles or U-turns. Speed control and smooth stopping. Accelerate gradually to match traffic speed without tail sliding or engine strain. Cruise control assists only on dry, open roads. Scan ahead and ease off the gas early. Steady braking saves fuel and gives followers time to react. For smooth stops, squeeze brake pressure progressively, then lighten during the last car length so passengers feel only a gentle seatbelt embrace. Lane position and lane changes. Center your vehicle between lines unless wind, blind crests, or wide oncoming trucks demand a brief offset. Signal at least 100 feet in city streets, 200 feet on highways. Check mirrors, glance over shoulder, and glide, not jerk, into the new lane. Cancel the signal promptly upon stabilizing to avoid misleading trailing traffic. Turning and interchapters. Plan 2 blocks ahead. Position early, signal, and reduce speed before the turn, never while deep into the curve. Right turns. Stay near curb, finish in rightmost lane. Left turns. Enter interchapter on green, yield to oncoming vehicles and pedestrians, and exit into nearest appropriate lane. Count to 3 after the light changes to green as you skin left, right, left to catch red light runners. Backing safely. Before reversing, walk behind the vehicle if visibility is limited. Children and objects sit below mirror sightlines. Place left hand at 12 o'clock, right arm over passenger seat, and twist torso to look through rear window while backing slowly. Use mirrors only as supplements. Back no faster than a slow walk so you can stop instantly if hazards appear. Parking and securing the vehicle. Park within 12 inches of curb, wheels toward curb when downhill, away when uphill. With curb, always set parking brake before releasing foot brake. Turn off engine, remove key/fob, lock doors, and never leave pets or children unattended, even for minutes. On grades, angle wheels into the shoulder if no curb exists to prevent roll-offs. Chapter 7 Summary. From seat adjustment to final parking brake click, basic driving skills rely on foresight. See hazards early, move smoothly, and place your vehicle precisely where safety margins stay widest. Rehearse these fundamentals until they require no conscious thought, freeing your mind for the complex traffic patterns ahead. Chapter 8. Traffic Controls. Traffic controls, signals, signs, and pavement markings form the universal language that keeps Colorado's diverse road users moving safely and predictably. Master the color, shape, and line cues on the next slides to decode instructions instantly, even when weather, darkness, or congestion hide the words. Standard traffic signals and arrows. Steady red means stop. Right turn on red is legal after a full stop unless a sign prohibits it and the way is clear of pedestrians and traffic. Steady yellow warns the signal will soon turn red. Enter only if already too close to stop safely. Green arrows create protected turns. Flashing yellow arrows allow yielding turns. Red arrows forbid the indicated turn entirely. Flashing signals and pedestrian indications. Flashing red functions as a stop sign, halt, scan, and proceed when clear. Flashing yellow signals proceed with caution through the interchapter. Cross traffic may not be controlled. Pedestrian signals include walk, flashing countdown, and solid don't walk. Drivers must yield whenever walk or countdown displays. Regulatory signs. Red, white, black. Octagon stop signs mandate a complete stop at the stop line, crosswalk, or before entering the interchapter. Inverted triangle yield signs require slowing and giving way to cross traffic until safe to merge. Vertical rectangles, speed limit, lane use control, one-way, state laws that, if ignored, bring citations and crash liability. Warning and work zone signs. Yellow diamonds forewarn of curves, interchapters, animal crossings, and surface changes requiring speed or lane adjustments. Orange work zone signs signal lane shifts, flaggers, and road workers fines double for violations in active zones. Chevron alignment and arrow boards guide you through sharp bends and tapers by illustrating the curve path. Guide, service, and recreation signs. Green signs provide directional and distance info to cities, exits, and highways. Follow advanced guide signs well ahead of interchanges. Blue signs point to services like fuel, food, lodging, and hospitals. Logo panels list available brands at exits. Brown signs mark parks, historic sites, and scenic byways, inviting leisure detours. Pavement markings, yellow lines. Yellow separates opposite flows. Broken yellow permits passing when clear. Solid yellow forbids passing from your side. Double solid yellow bars passing for traffic in both directions. Cross only to turn left into or out of a driveway or alley. Two-way left turn lanes have dashed/solid combinations. Use only for brief left turn setups, not for acceleration or travel. Pavement markings, white lines, and symbols. Broken white lines separate same direction lanes. Cross after signaling and checking mirrors and blind spot. Solid white lines discourage or prohibit lane changes near interchapters or tunnels. Stay in lane until clearing the hazard. Words, arrows, and diamonds on the pavement are regulatory. Once in the lane, obey only or have symbols to avoid tickets. Crosswalks, stop and yield lines. Thick white stop lines show where to halt at a red light or stop sign so pedestrians remain protected ahead of your bumper. Diagonal or ladder crosswalks mark high-traffic pedestrian zones. Vehicles must yield once any part of a person enters. Triangular, shark teeth yield lines appear at roundabout entries or mid-block crossings, signaling motorists to slow and give way. Chapter 8 Summary. Color cues purpose. Red forbids, yellow warns, green guides, white and yellow lines organize, learn them cold, so every glance translates to instant action. Chapter 9. Traffic signals. Traffic signals choreograph thousands of vehicles and pedestrians every minute with red, yellow, and green light cues that override all other controls. Study these signal types and meanings until each color, shape, and flash triggers an automatic, correct reaction behind the wheel. Steady signals, core meanings. Red circles steady red asterisk come to a complete stop before the stop line or crosswalk. Turn right on red only after a full stop and when the way is clear unless a sign says "No turn on red." Yellow circles steady yellow asterisk the light is about to turn red enter only if you are too close to stop safely. Never accelerate to beat the red. Green circles steady green asterisk proceed through the interchapter after scanning left right left. Yield to vehicles still clearing and to pedestrians in the crosswalk. Arrow signals, protected and permitted turns. Green circle green arrow asterisk protected turn. Oncoming traffic has a red light, giving you exclusive right-of-way in the arrow's direction. Yellow circle solid yellow arrow asterisk protected phase ending. Prepare to stop unless already in the interchapter. Yellow circle flashing yellow arrow asterisk permitted turn. Yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. Then turn when safe. Red circle red arrow asterisk no turn in the arrow's direction. Remain stopped until a green arrow or steady green appears. Flashing signals and always stops. Red circle flashing red asterisk treat like a stop sign. Stop completely, yield, then proceed when clear. Yellow circle flashing yellow asterisk proceed with caution. Slow and be prepared to yield to cross traffic. At malfunctioning dark signals, treat the interchapter as an always stop. Each driver yields based on first arrival rules. Lane use control signals. Green downward arrow, lane open for travel. Yellow X, lane closing soon, merge out promptly. Red X, lane closed, do not drive in this lane. Used on reversible lanes, tunnels, and toll plazas to manage peak direction flow. Pedestrian and bicycle signals. Walk/person walking symbol, pedestrians may start crossing, drivers turning must yield. Flashing don't walk countdown, pedestrians already in crosswalk finish, new walkers wait. Solid don't walk. Pedestrians must stay on curb, drivers proceed if path is clear. Bike signals show bicycle icons and provide dedicated phases, obey like standard signals when cycling. Ramp meters and HOV signals. Freeway ramp meters alternate red and green every few seconds, releasing vehicles 1 or 2 at a time to smooth merges. Solid red at ramp meter equals wait at stop line, green equals proceed and merge. HOV signals above carpool lanes display red X, closed, or green arrow, open, during restricted hours. Railroad and light rail signals. Flashing red lights at crossings mean a train is approaching. Stop 1550 feet away and remain until lights stop and gates rise. Some light rail interchapters use standard traffic signals with a white bar, proceed, or red bar, stop. For rail vehicles, drivers must still obey conventional lights. Chapter 9 Summary. Signal mastery equals interchapter mastery. Memorize each steady, flashing, and arrow meaning so your responses are instant and error-free. Chapter 10 Pavement markings. Painted lines and symbols speak continuously beneath your wheels, telling you where to drive, when to pass, and how to position for turns even when signs and signals are absent. Learn their color and pattern codes now, and you will navigate Colorado's roads automatically and safely, day or night. Yellow center lines. Yellow markings always separate traffic moving in opposite directions. A single broken yellow line allows passing when the opposing lane is clear for at least 500 feet. A single solid yellow on your side forbids passing, even if distant oncoming traffic appears clear. Double solid yellow bars passing for both directions, cross only to turn left into or out of a private drive or alley. Two-way left turn lanes. Identified by parallel solid outer yellow lines with inner dashed yellow lines, these center lanes are shared for left turns from either direction. Enter the lane only long enough to complete the turn. Use it as a waiting bay, not a travel or acceleration lane. Watch for opposing vehicles entering simultaneously. Yield to the first vehicle already in the lane. White lane lines. White lines separate lanes moving in the same direction. Broken white lines permit lane changes after signaling and mirror/shoulder checks. A solid white line discourages lane changes, common near interchapters, tunnels, and on freeway exit ramps. Double solid white lines prohibit crossing entirely. Remain in lane until the pattern ends. Edge lines and fog lines. A solid white edge line marks the right boundary of the drivable roadway. Use it as a visual guide in darkness or fog. A solid yellow edge line sometimes marks the left edge on divided highways or one-way ramps. Crossing indicates leaving the roadway. Arrows, words, and lane use symbols. Lane arrows show mandatory directions, straight, left, right, or combinations. Once in the lane, you must follow the arrow. Only stencils reinforce exclusive movements or turn lanes. Diamond symbols designate HOV or bus-only lanes during posted hours. Violations carry hefty fines. Crosswalks, stop lines, and yield lines. Thick white stop lines show where to halt at stop signs or red signals, keeping crosswalks clear for pedestrians. Standard or ladder-style crosswalk stripes mark pedestrian crossing zones. Vehicles must yield once any part of a pedestrian enters. Triangular shark-tooth yield lines appear ahead of mid-block crossings and roundabout entries, signaling drivers to slow and give way. Bike lanes and shared lane markings. Solid white lines with bike symbols designate exclusive bicycle lanes. Motor vehicles may cross only to turn after yielding to cyclists. Dashed bike lane stripes near interchapters indicate a conflict zone where cars may merge across after checking for bikes. Charos, bike plus chevron symbols, remind motorists to share narrow lanes and show cyclists proper lateral positioning. Other markings, rumble strips and reflective markers. Raised or grooved rumble strips placed along shoulders alert drowsy or distracted drivers who drift toward the edge. Reflective raised pavement markers augment painted lines at night. Red markers facing you mean you are going the wrong way. Chapter 10 Summary. Yellow divides directions, white organizes same direction flow, arrows dictate lane commitment, and text or symbols add emphasis. Together they form a pavement-based rulebook visible in every condition. Memorize these patterns and you will read the road's language fluently, keeping your wheels exactly where safety and the law expect them to be. Chapter 11. Lane Controls. Colorado's road network uses specialized lanes, turn bays, reversible lanes, HOV corridors, and more to streamline traffic and reduce crashes. The slides ahead decode each controlled lane type so you can choose the correct lane early and keep traffic flowing smoothly. Dedicated turn lanes. Designated left and right turn bays remove turning vehicles from through traffic, reducing rear-end collisions and interchapter delays. Enter the turn lane only after the dashed white entry lines appear. Weaving across solid lines to reach it is illegal. Remain within the bay, signal, and yield to pedestrians and cyclists before completing the turn. Center two-way left turn lanes. Shared center lanes bordered by solid and dashed yellow lines provide protected space for left turns from either direction. Use them solely to prepare for a left turn within 200 feet. Traveling or passing in the lane is prohibited and ticketable. Yield to opposing vehicles already in the lane and watch for hidden driveways where cars may enter suddenly. Reversible and peak hour lanes. Reversible lanes, common on urban arterials, change direction according to time of day traffic volumes and are governed by overhead lane use signals. A green arrow means the lane is open in your direction, a yellow times signals imminent closure, and a red times forbids entry. Always exit a reversible lane before the yellow times turns red to avoid head-on conflicts when flow reverses. High occupancy vehicle, HOV, and express lanes. HOV lanes, marked with a white diamond symbol, require the posted minimum occupants or a qualifying clean air vehicle during restricted hours. Express lanes may use variable tolling. Solo drivers pay while carpools travel free. Follow the electronic signs for current status. Crossing the solid white buffer lines that separate HOV or express lanes is illegal. Enter and exit only at designated dash chapters. Bicycle, bus, and transit-only lanes. Solid white lines and bike symbols designate exclusive bicycle lanes. Motorists may cross only to turn after yielding to cyclists. Transit-only or bus lanes, often painted red, give priority to mass transit vehicles. Unauthorized entry carries steep fines. Shared lane charo markings remind cyclists to ride center of narrow lanes and alert drivers to expect bikes. Passing and climbing lanes on grades. On steep rural grades, added right-hand climbing lanes let heavy trucks ascend slowly without blocking faster traffic. Use the left lane to pass slower vehicles quickly and safely, then return to the right to maintain smooth flow. At lane endings, merge using the zipper method, alternating vehicles one for one at the point where dashed lines converge. Chapter 11 Summary. Choosing the correct lane early, whether a protected turn bay, a carpool corridor, or a reversible rush hour lane, keeps traffic predictable and accidents rare. Memorize each lane's markings and entry rules, and you will navigate Colorado's busiest highways and tightest interchapters with calm precision. Chapter 12. Right-of-way. Right-of-way is not a prize to seize, but a courtesy to yield. Colorado law spells out who goes first so everyone arrives alive. The following slides break down each common conflict zone, interchapters, merges, pedestrian crossings, so you can yield confidently and drive predictably. Uncontrolled and four-way stop interchapters. At an interchapter without signs or signals, yield to vehicles already in the interchapter and to those approaching from your right. At a four-way stop, the first vehicle to halt moves first. When vehicles arrive simultaneously, the driver on the left yields to the driver on the right. Make eye contact when in doubt. Clear communication prevents false starts and fender benders. Left turns. Always yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians before turning left, even if you have a green light without an arrow. Complete the turn into the closest lawful lane. Cutting across multiple lanes confuses other drivers and violates right-of-way. If the light turns red while you are in the interchapter, complete the turn quickly when it is safe. Do not back up. Pedestrian crossings and crosswalks. Drivers must yield to pedestrians in both marked and unmarked crosswalks at interchapters. Stop well before the crosswalk so other lanes can see the pedestrian. Never drive around a vehicle stopped for a walker. Blind pedestrians with white canes or guide dogs have absolute right-of-way. Stop and remain until they have safely crossed. Emergency vehicles. When an emergency vehicle approaches with siren and flashing lights, pull as far right as possible and stop until it passes. Remain stopped at interchapters even if you have a green light. Let the emergency driver choose the safest path through. After the vehicle passes, check for a second responder before re-entering traffic. School buses and children. Traffic in both directions must stop at least 20 feet from a school bus displaying flashing red lights unless on a divided highway. Remain stopped until the lights stop and stop arm folds. Children may dart unpredictably even after signals cease. Violations carry mandatory court appearance, heavy fines, and license points. Roundabouts. Approach roundabouts at posted speed, yield to traffic already circulating, and enter only when a safe gap appears. Inside the circle, do not stop, maintain flow, and yield to pedestrians in splitter island crosswalks at exits. Use your right turn signal to indicate intent to exit and help waiting drivers gauge gaps. Chapter 12 Summary. Yielding is proactive protection. Grant others the right-of-way before conflict arises and crashes never happen. Learn these Colorado rules by heart, and every four-way stop, school bus halt, and roundabout merge will unfold smoothly and safely. Chapter 13 Speed. Speed choices decide crash outcomes long before skids begin. Colorado's limits and basic speed law exist to save lives, not slow you down. Use the next slides to match velocity to conditions, avoid costly citations, and keep reaction time on your side every mile. Colorado Speed Limits Overview. 25 miles per hour on urban streets, 65 to 75 miles per hour on rural interstates, and 40 miles per hour on open mountain highways unless otherwise posted. These statutory limits apply when no sign is present. Always watch for posted signs that supersede general rules. High country weather and wildlife demand extra vigilance. Slow earlier than signs suggest when traction or sight distance drops. The basic speed law. Drive no faster than is safe for current conditions, regardless of posted limit. Rain, ice, gravel, or congestion may require steep reductions. Troopers can cite for too fast for conditions, even when you obey the sign if your speed endangers others. Ask, can I stop within the cleared distance ahead? If not, my speed is unsafe. School zones and work zones. Flashing beacons or posted hours drop limits to 20 miles per hour in school zones. Fines double and points add quickly for violations. Orange signs and workers on or near the pavement reduce limits in work zones. Fines double and jail is possible if a worker is struck. Watch flaggers. Their hand signals override all other controls, including signals and signs. Approaching emergency and stationary vehicles. When passing stationary emergency, tow, or maintenance vehicles with flashing lights, move over a lane or slow at least 20 miles per hour below the posted limit. Failure to comply with the move-over law carries hefty fines and points, reflecting the deadly risk to roadside responders. Speed, reaction time, and stopping distance. At 60 miles per hour, you travel 88 feet per second. A typical 1.5-second reaction consumes 132 feet before braking even begins. Stopping distance grows exponentially. The hit at 45 miles per hour packs double the force of a 30 miles per hour impact. Follow the 3-second rule on dry pavement. Double it in rain or when tailing motorcycles and trucks. Consequences of speeding. First-tier speeding, 1 to 19 miles per hour over, costs up to $100 and 3 points. 20 to 24 miles per hour over jumps to $200 and 6 points. Felony reckless driving charges apply for racing or 40 miles per hour over limits, accompanied by jail, license suspension, and impound fees. Insurance premiums spike for even minor tickets. Speed control protects wallets as well as lives. Chapter 13 Summary. Posted numbers mark legal ceilings, not personal goals. Smart drivers let weather, traffic, and sightlines fine-tune final speed choices. Keep velocity within limits, extend following distance, and you will carve minutes, not milliseconds, off trips while adding years to driving freedom. Chapter 14. Turning. Smooth, well-timed turns keep traffic flowing and crashes rare. Even a sloppy drift across lanes can trigger head-ons or side swipes. These slides break down right, left, and U-turn techniques so you can pivot safely at every interchapter and driveway Colorado offers. Right turns. Signal at least 100 feet in urban areas, check mirrors and blind spot, and move as close to the right curb as practical. Brake before the corner, then coast through at walking speed, accelerate only after halfway through the turn. Finish in the rightmost lane of the road you enter, swinging wide invites inside overtakes and cyclist conflicts. Left turns, single lane. Approach the center line, signal 100 feet ahead, and keep wheels straight until you can complete the turn. This avoids being pushed into oncoming traffic if rear-ended. Yield to oncoming vehicles and pedestrians. Complete the turn into the nearest lawful lane on the new roadway. If the light turns yellow while you are in the interchapter, clear promptly, do not back up. Multiple turn lanes. Choose the correct lane early. Lane use arrows and overhead signs dictate which turn lanes lead to which exit lanes. Stay within your lane throughout the turn. Solid white lines prohibit lane changes inside the interchapter. After the turn, signal and merge only once fully clear and safe. U-turns. Legal only where posted or at interchapters with a visible U-turn permitted sign, never on curves, hills, or railroad crossings. Signal left, yield to approaching traffic from all directions, and complete the turn in one smooth arc without backing. Ensure a 500-foot visibility gap both ahead and behind before initiating the maneuver. Right on red and left on red, one way to one way. After a complete stop, you may turn right on red if the way is clear and no sign prohibits. Yield to pedestrians and oncoming traffic. Left on red from a one-way street onto another one-way street is legal after stopping and yielding unless a sign forbids it. Remember, flashing red functions as a stop sign. Treat turns the same as at steady red after a full stop. Roundabout exits. Signal right after passing the exit before yours to alert following drivers of your intent. Maintain low, steady speed and do not change lanes inside the circle. Choose entry lane based on intended exit. Yield to pedestrians at Splitter Island crosswalks both on entry and exit. Chapter 14 Summary. Mastering turns is a choreography of early signals, precise lane choice, controlled speed, and unwavering yield courtesy. With these habits locked in, every corner becomes a confident, predictable motion instead of a last-second scramble. Chapter 15. Parking. Parking looks routine, yet improper wheel angle or curb distance causes hundreds of runaway and sideswipe crashes each year. Lock in the positioning and prohibition rules ahead, so every stop ends with your vehicle secure, legal, and out of everyone's way. General parking rules. Always park within 18 inches of the curb unless signs specify a tighter limit. Farther invites citations and mirror strikes. Stop the engine, remove key or fob, lock doors, and never leave children or pets unattended. Colorado permits forcible entry to rescue them. Use hazard flashers if you must park on the shoulder of a highway due to a breakdown. Parallel parking procedure. Pick a space at least 3 feet longer than your car. Signal and stop even with the vehicle ahead of the gap. Shift to reverse. Back slowly while steering toward the curb until your rear wheel aligns with the other car's bumper. Straighten wheels. Continue reversing until front bumper clears the vehicle ahead, then steer away from the curb to center the car 1 foot from the gutter. Angle and perpendicular parking. Approach slowly, center your vehicle between stall lines, and stop before front wheels touch the curb or will stop. When backing out, shift to reverse, check mirrors, look over both shoulders for cross traffic or pedestrians, then back slowly while turning the wheel toward the travel lane. Straighten wheels once your windshield aligns with the bumpers of the adjacent row, then shift to drive and pull forward. Parking on hills. Downhill with curb, turn front wheels sharply toward the curb and roll gently until the tire rests against it. Uphill with curb, turn wheels away from the curb, allow the vehicle to roll back against the curb acting as a block. Any hill without a curb, turn wheels toward the road edge or shoulder, set parking brake firmly, and leave manual transmissions in first gear or reverse. No parking zones and distances. Do not park within 15 feet of a fire hydrant, 20 feet of a crosswalk at an interchapter, 30 feet of a stop sign or traffic signal, or 50 feet of a railroad crossing. Parking is prohibited in bike lanes, on bridges or tunnels, in front of driveways, or anywhere signs state no parking. Double parking alongside a parked vehicle blocks the travel lane and draws immediate towing and fines. Disabled parking spaces. Only vehicles displaying a valid disability placard or plate may park in blue striped spaces marked with the international symbol of access. Illegal use of another person's placard can result in fines over $500 and loss of the privilege. Leave adjacent striped access aisles clear. Wheelchairs and lifts need the extra space. Chapter 15 Summary. Correct parking angles wheels into safety, respects curb distances, and honors every painted line or posted restriction. Practice these techniques until each stop, hill or flat, ends with your car secure and your conscience as clear as the ticket list on your windshield. Chapter 16. Freeway driving. High-speed, limited-access freeways move traffic efficiently, but only when every driver masters smooth merging, disciplined lane use, and long-range scanning. These slides turn page 14 guidelines into narratable steps you can rehearse aloud before your next on-ramp. Entering the freeway. Use the entrance ramp to check traffic, then accelerate in the merge lane to match freeway speed. Stopping here causes dangerous rear-end risks. Signal left, find a safe gap by scanning mirrors and over-shoulder, and merge smoothly without forcing other drivers to brake hard. If heavy traffic blocks merging, adjust speed to slot behind a vehicle rather than squeezing ahead. Lane discipline and passing. Cruise in the right or middle lanes. Reserve the far left lane for overtaking or letting faster traffic pass. Before changing lanes, signal at least 3 blinks, check mirrors, and glance over shoulder to clear blind spots. Complete passes promptly, then return right. Left lane camping frustrates drivers and breeds aggressive weaving. Speed management and following distance. Maintain posted limits, adjust for weather, visibility, and traffic density. Colorado's basic speed law still applies on freeways. Follow the 3-second rule on dry pavement, doubling to 6 in rain or behind large trucks that block sightlines. Use cruise control only on dry, open stretches. Disengage on wet or icy surfaces to prevent wheel spin. Exiting the freeway. Plan exits 2 miles in advance, read guide signs early, and move into the correct lane without abrupt cuts across traffic. Signal right, enter the deceleration lane at highway speed, then brake smoothly to the ramp limit. Never slow on the travel lane. If you miss your exit, proceed to the next. Stopping or backing on the shoulder is illegal and deadly. Handling freeway emergencies. If your vehicle stalls, steer to the shoulder, angle wheels away from traffic, activate hazard flashers, and stay belted inside while calling for aid. In tire blowouts, grip the wheel, ease off the accelerator, allow the car to slow, then apply gentle braking once under control. Never walk on the freeway unless absolutely necessary. Wait for professional help or exit safely at the next ramp. Avoiding highway hypnosis and fatigue. On long drives, shift eye focus regularly, adjust seat posture, or open a window to maintain alertness. Stop at least every 2 hours or 100 miles for rest. Fatigue impairs reaction time similar to low-level alcohol. Share driving duties on road trips and avoid midnight to dawn schedules when circadian lows peak. Winter and mountain freeway tips. Reduce speed before downhill grades. Use lower gears and engine braking to prevent overheating brakes. Watch for chain-up stations and obey traction laws. Certain weather activates mandatory chain or snow tire requirements. Wind gusts in mountain passes can push high-profile vehicles. Give trucks and RVs extra lateral space. Chapter 16 Summary. Freeway safety boils down to smooth merges, strategic lane choices, generous following gaps, and honest self-monitoring for fatigue. Master these habits and Colorado's fastest roads will feel predictable, efficient, and above all, safe. Chapter 17. Changing lanes. A proper lane change is a ballet of mirrors, signals, and shoulder checks that, when rushed or skipped, spark sideswipes and road rage. The following slides break down each component so you can shift lanes smoothly, legally, and confidently on any Colorado roadway. The SMOG routine. Signal. Activate the turn signal at least 3 flashes before moving laterally. Mirror. Check rear view and side mirror for vehicles rapidly approaching from behind. Over shoulder. Glance over the shoulder in the direction of the lane change to clear blind spots. Go glide into the new lane at a similar speed, then cancel the turn signal promptly after centering. Choosing the right time and space. Maintain a minimum 2-second gap both ahead and behind in the destination lane before initiating a change. Avoid lane changes in interchapters, on curves, near railroad crossings, or where solid lines prohibit crossing. In dense traffic, adjust speed slightly to slip into a gap rather than forcing brakes on other drivers. Lane changes on multi-lane freeways. Scan 2 lanes over. Vehicles may move simultaneously. Anticipate their actions and adjust. Complete 1 lane change at a time. Weaving multiple lanes in one motion is unpredictable and often illegal. Use mirrors to track large trucks. If you cannot see the driver's face in the mirror, the driver cannot see you. Passing maneuvers on 2-lane roads. Ensure at least 500 feet of clear oncoming distance and stay within the speed limit when overtaking. Signal left, check mirrors and shoulder, then accelerate smoothly and pass without lingering beside the other vehicle. Signal right, ensure both headlights of the overtaken vehicle appear in your interior mirror, then return to lane and cancel signal. Merging and exit lane changes. On entrance ramps, adjust speed to match freeway flow before merging left using SMG. Avoid stopping unless absolutely necessary. Plan exits 2 miles early. Change lanes gradually toward the exit lane. Last-second cuts cause brake check chains. If you miss an exit, continue. Never back up or cross the gore area. Common errors and how to avoid them. Failing to signal. Telegraph intentions early so others create space. Lingering in blind spots. If you cannot avoid a blind spot, stay, speed up, or slow down to clear quickly. Cutting too close in front of large trucks. Give extra room. Big rigs need longer stopping distance, and their view of your car's nose is limited. Chapter 17 Summary. Every flawless lane change follows the same script. Signal, mirror, shoulder check, glide, cancel. Turn this sequence into muscle memory, and you'll navigate Colorado's busiest multi-lane corridors without a ripple of drama in your mirrors. Chapter 18 Passing. Passing on Colorado's two-lane highways demands perfect timing and disciplined lane returns. The slightest misjudgment invites deadly head-ons. When passing is permitted. Passing is allowed only when your lane has a dashed yellow center line and the opposing lane is clear for at least 500 feet. Freeway left lanes may be used for overtaking slower traffic before returning right. Avoid lingering in the passing lane. Never exceed the posted speed limit while passing. Use efficient but legal acceleration. No passing zones. Double solid yellow lines, hills, curves with limited sight distance, 100 feet of interchapters or railroad crossings, and tunnels forbid passing. Signs such as do not pass and passing prohibited complement pavement markings, obey whichever restriction appears first. Attempting to pass in a no passing zone carries steep fines and 4 driver license points. Safe passing procedure, SMOG. Signal left at least 3 seconds before moving, check mirrors, and glance over the left shoulder for blind spot clearance. Move left smoothly, accelerate to overtake without cutting the centerline too sharply. Complete the pass only when both headlights of the overtaken vehicle appear in your inside mirror. This gap ensures safe following distance upon return. Signal right, check right mirror and over shoulder, then glide back into lane. Cancel signal promptly. Passing large vehicles and motorcycles. Large trucks create wind buffets, pass quickly yet smoothly to minimize side sway. Semi-truck blind spots extend 2 lanes wide on the right. Always pass on the left where visibility is better. Motorcycles accelerate quickly. Ensure you can clear them without forcing excessive braking. Being passed. Stay in your lane and maintain a steady speed. Speeding up traps the passer in opposing traffic. If safe, move slightly right to provide extra clearance and reduce wind turbulence. When a tailgater attempts to pass on a 2-lane road, ease off the accelerator to widen their re-entry gap. Chapter 18 Summary. Legal passing hinges on clear sight lines, correct lane markings, disciplined mirror and shoulder checks, and courteous lane returns. Practice the full S and O to G plus sequence until every pass feels smooth and predictable. Your reward is quicker trips and safer highways for all. Chapter 19. Hills and Curves. Gravity and geometry conspire on Colorado's terrain. Crest a hill too fast or miss a curved sightline and physics will punish in seconds. Learn the speed check, gear shift, and sight management tactics ahead to tame every ascent, descent, and bend with margin to spare. Approaching hills. Shift to a lower gear before ascending steep grades to keep engine RPM in its power band and avoid mid-hill downshifts. Watch for slow-moving trucks. Use added right-hand climbing lanes where provided to pass safely. On crests, ease off the accelerator and scan far ahead. Hidden stopped traffic or wildlife may lurk just beyond the peak. Descending hills and mountain downgrades. Start down long grades in the same gear you used to climb. Engine braking prevents brake fade from overheating friction surfaces. Apply the snub braking technique. Brake firmly to drop 5 miles per hour below target speed. Release to let brakes cool. Repeat. Check mirrors for runaway vehicles behind. If brakes fail, locate posted runaway truck ramps and steer in without hesitation. Curve negotiation basics. Slow before entering, not within the curve. Braking inside shifts weight forward and can cause front wheel slide. Use the outside-inside-outside path. Start wide, clip the apex smoothly, exit wide while accelerating gently to stabilize weight transfer. Look through the curve's exit point, not at the edge line. Vision guides steering naturally along the ideal arc. Advisory speed plaques and chevron signs. Yellow advisory speed panels indicate maximum safe speed for ideal conditions. Wet, gravel, or icy surfaces demand even slower entry. Chevron alignment signs line sharp bends, follow their direction and density to gauge curvature severity and prepare speed accordingly. Night and weather considerations. At night, limit speed so you can stop within headlight reach. Overdriving beams leaves no margin on unseen curves. Rain, ice, and fallen leaves reduce tire grip. Have posted advisories and avoid abrupt steering or throttle inputs on slick bends. High winds in mountain passes can push vehicles across center lines. Grip the wheel firmly and be ready to correct. Chapter 19 Summary. Master hills by selecting gear and speed before gravity takes charge. Master curves by setting speed, sightline, and line of travel before the apex. Combine those foresight habits and Colorado's steep, winding roads transform from white-knuckle trials into confident, controlled drives. Chapter 20. Night driving. Darkness hides hazards and shrinks reaction time, yet with the right speed, lighting, and fatigue checks, nighttime journeys can be as safe as daylight. Visibility and headlight range. Low beams illuminate roughly 250 feet. High beams push visibility to about 450 feet. Limit speed so you can stop within that distance. Switch to low beams within 500 feet of oncoming vehicles or 200 feet when following to avoid blinding other drivers. Keep headlights, taillights, and windshield glass clean. Grime scatters light and doubles glare. Glare management. Meet oncoming glare by glancing to the right edge line until the vehicle passes. Your peripheral vision still tracks lane position. Dim dashboard lights and avoid staring at illuminated infotainment screens that ruin night vision. If dazzled by high beams behind you, flip the mirror's nighttime tab or adjust the auto-dimming feature to cut glare. Speed, following distance and overdriving headlights. Reduce speed 510 mph below daytime pace. Depth perception and color recognition fade after sunset. Maintain at least a 4-second gap to the vehicle ahead. Taillights provide advanced cues of road conditions. Overdriving means traveling faster than your headlight reach, slow until stopping distance fits inside the visible zone. Fatigue and highway hypnosis. Drowsiness peaks between midnight and 6 a.m. Plan breaks every 2 hours and share driving on long trips. Early warning signs include heavy eyelids, wandering thoughts, and trouble keeping speed steady. Pull off and rest immediately. Caffeine offers only a temporary boost. A 15-minute power nap more reliably restores alertness. Wildlife and pedestrian hazards. Scan shoulders for the reflective eye glow of deer. Collisions spike at dawn and dusk when animals are most active. In urban areas, expect joggers and cyclists in dark clothing, slow on residential streets, and use high beams when safe. If a collision with large wildlife is unavoidable, brake firmly in lane. Swerving can flip the vehicle or strike oncoming traffic. Chapter 20 Summary. Night driving success hinges on matching speed to headlight reach, taming glare, staying alert, and anticipating hidden hazards. Master these habits, and you will arrive rested, ticket-free, and unruffled no matter how late the clock reads. Chapter 21 Weather. Colorado's skies can flip from bluebird calm to blizzard whiteout in minutes. Your survival hinges on matching speed, traction, and visibility to every forecast twist. Rain and hydroplaning. Slow 510 mph below the limit at the first raindrops. Oil film mixes with water and doubles stopping distance. Increase following gap to 6 seconds and drive in the tire tracks of vehicles ahead where water is thinner. If the steering feels light and RPM spikes, you are hydroplaning. Ease off the accelerator, keep wheels straight, and wait for tires to regain contact. Snow, ice, and black ice. Accelerate and brake gently. Abrupt inputs brake traction and trigger ABS or stability control interventions. Bridges and shaded curves freeze first. Test grip with the light brake tap before committing to speed changes. Carry chains or approved snow tires during traction law activations. Fines apply for ignoring chain requirements on I-70 corridors. Fog and reduced visibility. Activate low beam headlights. High beams reflect off moisture and blind you with glare. Reduce speed so you can stop within visible distance. Use the right edge line as a guide if center lines disappear. If visibility nears zero, pull completely off the roadway, turn off headlights, leave hazards on, and wait until conditions improve. Wind and dust storms. Grip the wheel firmly. Sudden gusts push high-profile vehicles into adjacent lanes. Give trailers and RVs extra space. Blowing dust can drop visibility instantly. Slow to a crawl, turn on headlights, and avoid sudden lane changes. After dust clears, watch for debris on the roadway and adjust lane position to avoid it. Flooded roadways. Turn around, don't drown. 6 inches of moving water can stall cars. 12 inches can sweep them away. Water hides washed-out pavement and debris. Never judge depth by eye, especially at night. If water rises around a stalled vehicle, abandon it and move to higher ground immediately. Sun glare and high-altitude UV. Use polarized sunglasses and visor extensions during low sun angles. Glare can completely mask traffic signals. Clean windshield inside and out. Dust and streaks amplify glare and reduce contrast. Consider UV protective film on side windows. High altitude increases UV exposure even in winter. Chapter 21 Summary. Weather multiplies risks by stealing grip, sightlines, or control. Slow down, enlarge following gaps, and activate the right equipment the moment conditions shift. Master these adaptive steps and Colorado's dynamic skies will influence your plans but never endanger your journey. Chapter 22. Snow and ice. Ice steals grip, snow hides lane lines, and both punish sudden steering or throttle, yet winter trips stay safe when you tune speed, gear, and vision to the conditions. Traction basics on ice and packed snow. Accelerate, brake, and steer with measured, gentle inputs. The goal is to keep tire grip within its limited winter friction envelope. Use winter or all-weather tires with at least 3/16-inch tread, balled rubber hydroplanes on slush, and skates on ice. Remember, four-wheel drive improves launch traction, but does not shorten stopping distance. Speed and following distance. Cut speeds by 1/3 on packed snow and by half or more on glare ice. Posted limits assume dry pavement. Extend following gaps to 6 seconds on snow and 10 seconds on ice. This buffer absorbs the doubled stopping distances. If tailgate, increase your own lead gap so a gentle stop won't invite a rear-end collision. Starting, stopping, and skid recovery. Begin motion in second gear on manuals or snow mode on automatics to reduce wheel spin. For ABS-equipped cars, press the brake firmly and steer. The system pulses pressure for you. Do not pump the pedal. If the rear skids, look and steer where you want the car to go, ease off the accelerator, and avoid brake application until grip returns. Chains and traction law requirements. When Colorado's chain law level 1 or 2 activates on mountain corridors, commercial trucks must chain up, passenger cars must have snow tires, chains, or AWD and adequate tread. Failure to comply can result in fines up to $650 if stranded and blocking traffic. Carry approved cable chains or AutoSock-style devices and practice installation at home, not roadside in a blizzard. Handling hills and downhill control. Climb long grades in a lower gear to maintain steady RPM. Avoid mid-hill shifts that break traction. Descend using engine braking. Select a lower gear before the drop and apply snub braking to prevent fade. Give extra space to heavy trucks. They may be in crawl gear and cannot maneuver quickly on ice. Visibility and snowplow safety. Use low-beam headlights in falling or blowing snow. High beams reflect glare back into your eyes. Never pass a working snowplow on the right. Wing blades extend several feet, and loose snow hides smaller hazards. Stay at least 4 car lengths back. Plows may stop or turn abruptly when clearing crossovers. Winter survival kit and stranded protocol. Carry blankets, flashlight, shovel, kitty litter or sand, snacks, water, and a phone power bank. If stranded, stay with the vehicle, run the engine 10 minutes each hour for heat, and clear the tailpipe to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. Tie a bright cloth to the antenna and keep dome light on at night so rescuers spot you quickly. Chapter 22 Summary. Winter mastery flows from slow, deliberate inputs, widened space cushions, and readiness for traction laws and plow convoys. Adopt these snow and ice strategies and Colorado's harshest storms will test, but never break, your driving confidence. Chapter 23. Seasonal Driving. Colorado's 4 dramatic seasons each add unique hazards: flash flood springs, blistering summer heat, leaf-slick autumn curves, and winter's snow-packed passes. The next slides arm you with season-specific tactics so your driving stays smooth and safe 365 days a year. Spring, rain, hail, and potholes. Spring showers mix with winter oil residue to create the slickest pavement of the year, slow 5 to 10 miles per hour below dry limits. Watch for sudden hailstorms. Pull under cover or angle windshield away from oncoming hail to minimize damage. Potholes emerge as thawed ice expands. Striking them at speed can blow tires or bend wheels. Scan ahead and steer around safely. Summer. Heat, wildfires, smoke, and tire blowouts. Monitor engine temperature on long climbs. Overheated coolant can boil over. Turn heater to hot and fan to high as an emergency radiator. Hot pavement expands tire air. Check pressure in the cool mornings and never exceed the sidewall PSI. Wildfire smoke cuts visibility. Switch AC to recirculate. Turn on low-beam headlights and be prepared for rolling closures. Autumn. Leaves, sun glare, and early frost. Wet leaves rival ice for slipperiness. Brake early and avoid sudden steering on leaf-covered curves. Low-angle sun near equinox creates intense glare during morning and evening commutes. Use polarized lenses and keep glass streak-free. Night temperatures dip below freezing even when days are mild. Bridges may host early black ice. Test traction gently at first frost. Winter prep, battery, fluids, and emergency gear. Cold cranking amps drop 30% below freezing. Test battery and replace if older than 4 winters. Top coolant with correct antifreeze mix and swap summer washer fluid for freeze-resistant formula. Store blankets, shovel, ice scraper, traction mats, and non-perishable snacks before the first storm, not during it. Chapter 23 Summary. Adapt speed, spacing, and vehicle prep to each season's signature threats, from spring potholes to summer blowouts, autumn glare, and winter freeze. Seasonal awareness turns a calendar page into proactive safety, keeping your journeys predictable while Colorado's weather keeps changing. Chapter 24. Mountain Driving. Colorado's spectacular passes mix breathtaking views with unforgiving physics, steep grades, thin air, and sudden weather demand special techniques. Preparing for the climb. Check brakes, coolant, and tire pressure before ascending. Breakdown shoulders are scarce on narrow canyon roads. Downshift to a lower gear before grades begin. Maintaining higher RPM prevents lugging and overheating. Slow-moving trucks may crawl at 25 miles per hour. Use designated passing lanes and never overtake on curves with limited sight distance. Engine braking and snub technique on descents. Select the same gear going down that you used climbing up. Engine compression absorbs speed without overheating brakes. Apply firm brake pressure to drop 5 miles per hour below target speed, then release for cooling. Repeat snub braking on long downgrades. If you smell hot brakes, pull into the next turnout. Continued heat leads to fade and total brake loss. Runaway truck ramps and emergency exits. Note ramp locations on steep corridors, such as I-70 at Genesee and MT Vernon Canyon. Memorize them during the climb. If brakes fail, steer into ramp immediately. Deep gravel beds stop heavy vehicles safely. Do not hesitate. Rimfire or jackknife risks escalate each passing second. Altitude effects on vehicles and drivers. Thin air reduces engine power by 3% per 1,000 feet. Expect sluggish acceleration above 8,000 feet. Drivers may experience dizziness or shortness of breath. Hydrate and take breaks to acclimate. Bring extra coolant. Boiling point drops with altitude, stressing radiators on long climbs. Weather microclimates. Summer thunderstorms form afternoon hail and torrents. Turn on headlights and double following distance. Winter chains or approved snow tires may be required suddenly. Obey roadside traction law alerts. Temperature swings create black ice at dawn and dusk, even after sunny afternoons. Test traction gently. Turnouts and courtesy pull-offs. Slow vehicles must use sign turnouts to let faster traffic pass. Failing to yield builds risky tailgater cues. Use turnout brakes to cool drums and rotors before the next descent leg. When passing a turnout, anticipate vehicles re-entering. Give them ample merge space. Chapter 24 Summary. Mountain mastery blends foresight, gear selection, brake cooling, acclimatization, with courtesy in turnouts and vigilance for weather swings. Practice these habits and Colorado's highest passes will reward you with safe climbs, controlled descents, and zero brake smoke drama. Chapter 25 Rural Driving. Colorado's backroads trade traffic jams for narrow lanes, blind hills, and roaming wildlife, hazards that demand patience and extra scanning. Visibility and road surface challenges. Unpaved or chip-sealed roads kick up dust clouds, slow until sight lines return, and use low-beam headlights to stand out. Watch for sudden surface changes, gravel patches, washboard ruts, or potholes appearing after spring thaw. At night, rural roads lack edge lighting. Use high beams when alone but dim within 500 feet of oncoming traffic. Speed, following distance and sightline limits. Statutory rural limit is 55 miles per hour unless posted lower, but curves, hills, and loose surfaces often require slower speeds. Maintain a 4-second gap. Dust plumes and rock spray increase braking distance and hide brake lights ahead. Slow before cresting hills. Oncoming tractors or wildlife may be stopped just beyond the blind peak. Sharing the road with farm equipment and livestock. Slow-moving vehicles displaying orange triangles may travel under 25 miles per hour. Reduce speed early and pass only in clear, legal zones. Give wide berth to farm implements with protruding blades. They may occupy the entire lane and shoulders. If livestock are herded across the road, stop, stay quiet, and wait for ranchers' hand signals before proceeding. Passing on 2-lane rural highways. Pass only on dashed yellow segments with at least 800 feet of visible clearance. Hills and tree lines shorten sight distance. Use the S to M to O to G plus routine, signal, mirror, over shoulder, go, and return when both headlights of the overtaken vehicle appear in your inside mirror. Beware of soft shoulders. Returning too early can drop a wheel and pull the vehicle off the roadway. Wildlife and night hazards. Deer and elk are most active at dawn and dusk. Scan shoulders for eye glow and slow when wildlife crossing signs appear. If an animal is unavoidable, brake firmly and stay in lane. Swerving can flip the vehicle or hit oncoming traffic. Carry emergency gear, water, blanket, flashlight, and charged phone. Rural breakdown assistance may be miles away. Chapter 25 Summary. Rural safety rests on slower speeds, wider gaps, and constant scanning for wildlife, farm gear, and unseen surface changes. Adopt these habits and Colorado's quiet backroads will offer scenic pleasure, not surprise hazards on every trip. Chapter 26 Construction Zones. Work zones squeeze lanes, hide workers behind cones, and change traffic patterns daily. Solid preparation avoids last-second panic. Work zone signage and speed reductions. Orange diamond signs and road work ahead. Warnings alert long before lane shifts begin. Slow and scan early. Posted work zone speed limits are enforceable even when workers are not present. Fines double for violations. Electronic speed feedback boards display your speed in real time. Treat them as a personal reminder, not a suggestion. Flaggers and temporary traffic signals. Flaggers' hand signals and stop/slow paddles override all permanent signs and usual right-of-way rules. Obey instantly. When a lane is closed, flaggers may alternate opposing traffic through a single open lane. Wait for the sign flip or hand wave before proceeding. Treat portable traffic signals and pilot car escorts as standard controls. Running them carries the same penalties as red light violations. Lane closures and merging strategies. Merge early when signs instruct right lane closed ahead. Sudden last-second cuts cause brake checks and worker exposure. If signs specify, use both lanes TO merge point. Employ the zipper merge. Vehicles alternate 1-for-1 at the taper. Respect channelizing cones and barrels. Moving or driving around them destroys the intended safety buffer. Worker and equipment awareness. Keep a buffer. Workers may step outside barriers or tools may extend unexpectedly into the lane. Construction vehicles enter and exit with limited acceleration, yield, and maintain extra following distance. Gravel and debris on pavement reduce traction, slow, and avoid hard braking on loose surfaces. Penalties for work zone violations. Colorado law doubles fines for speeding or handheld phone use in active work zones, reflecting the elevated risk. Causing injury to a worker can elevate charges to felony levels with potential jail time and license revocation. Traffic camera enforcement in some zones issues automatic citations. Ignorance of camera presence is no defense. Chapter 26 Summary. Respect orange signs, dial back speed, and follow flagger directions and merge queues. These simple acts guard workers' lives and your license. Commit to cautious, predictable driving in construction zones, and every rebuild will finish safer and sooner for everyone. Chapter 27. Safe Driving Tips. These final reminders wrap every prior chapter into a simple daily checklist. Scan, space, communicate, and stay calm. Practice each habit until muscle memory and courtesy work together to keep every mile predictable and crash-free. Defensive driving mindset. Assume other drivers will make mistakes. Position your vehicle and speed so their errors never trap you. Keep a generous escape route open lane to one side or open shoulder, whenever possible. Avoid emotional driving. Anger narrows attention and fuels risk-taking. Breathe, let aggressors pass, and stay focused. Vision and scanning. Sweep eyes 12 to 15 seconds ahead to detect brake lights, signal changes, and hazards early. Check mirrors every 5-8 seconds and glance over shoulders before any lateral move to clear blind spots. At night or in rain, adjust speed so you can stop within visible distance. Overdriving your sightlines erases reaction time. Speed and space management. Follow the 3-second rule on dry pavement. Double it in rain or behind large trucks and motorcycles. Match speed to conditions, not just posted limits. Gravel, snow, or congestion may require steep reductions. Smooth acceleration and braking conserve fuel and prevent rear-end surprises for following traffic. Avoiding distractions. Activate Do Not Disturb while driving on phones. Single-tap GPS or voice commands only when stopped or parked. Secure pets and children before shifting to drive. Reach-back distractions are as dangerous as phone use. Treat food, grooming, and infotainment adjustments as parked car tasks, not rolling multitasks. Communication and courtesy. Signal at least 100 feet, urban/200 feet, highway, before turns or lane changes, and cancel promptly afterward. Use headlights day and night to increase visibility. Flash low beams once to remind unaware high-beam drivers. Wave thank you when others yield. Small courtesies diffuse tension and encourage future cooperation. Vehicle readiness and maintenance. Check tire pressure, tread, lights, and washer fluid monthly. Mechanical failures cost far more time than quick inspections. Replace wiper blades twice a year. Clear vision equals safe decisions. Keep an emergency kit. First aid supplies, flashlight, blanket, water, and reflective triangles for breakdowns. Chapter 27 Summary. Safe driving blends proactive scanning, adequate space, calm communication, and a well-maintained vehicle. Embody these habits every trip, and you will convert Colorado's roads from city grid to mountain pass into predictable, low-stress pathways. Chapter 28. Sharing the road. Colorado's roads mix cars, trucks, buses, bikes, and walkers into one moving ecosystem. Safe travel depends on every driver noticing and respecting them all. Motorcycles. Treat motorcycles as full-size vehicles. They are entitled to the entire lane and often shift position to dodge debris and improve visibility. Lane filtering is legal when traffic is stopped. Expect a two-wheeled motorcycle to pass slowly between lanes at under 15 miles per hour. Because bikes accelerate and brake quickly, maintain at least a 4-second following gap and double-check mirrors before turning or merging. Look twice for small profiles at interchapters. Most car-bike crashes happen when a driver turns left across an oncoming rider. Wind gusts can push a motorcycle sideways. Give extra lateral space when passing, especially with large vehicles. Large trucks and buses. Big rigs create no zones, huge blind spots, 2 lanes wide on the right, 1 on the left, 20 feet ahead and 30 feet behind. Stay visible. On passes, use the left lane and wait until you can see both truck headlights in your mirror before returning right. Keep behind the white stop line at lights. Trucks may swing wide to make right turns and need the extra room. Never cut sharply in front. An 80000 LB truck needs far more distance to stop than a passenger car. Runaway truck ramps are lifesavers on steep grades. Never stop or park in them and watch for smoking brakes indicating a truck in distress. Bus-related tips. City buses stop frequently, anticipate brake lights, and give them space to rejoin traffic. If you overtake a stopped bus, proceed slowly. Pedestrians or cyclists may dart across from the far side. State law grants transit buses the right-of-way when they signal to leave a stop on roads posted 35 miles per hour or below, yield and merge behind. Watch for passengers loading bikes on front racks or stepping into the travel lane from the curb. School buses follow separate rules. See next slide for the red light and stop arm requirements. School buses. Flashing yellow lights warn that a bus is preparing to stop, slow down, and prepare to halt. When red lights flash and the stop arm extends, you must stop at least 20 feet from the bus, both directions, unless a physical median divides the roadway. Remain stopped until the lights stop flashing. Children may cross in front of the bus or emerge from behind it. On divided highways with a median, only traffic behind the bus must stop. Opposing lanes may proceed with caution. Violations carry steep fines and add points. Protect kids by staying alert near neighborhoods, schools, and bus stops. Chapter 28 Summary. Safe sharing boils down to 3 habits. See every road user early, give them generous space, and signal intentions clearly. Practice these courtesies daily and Colorado's diverse traffic blend becomes a cooperative flow instead of a competition for pavement. Chapter 29. Railroad Crossing. Trains cannot swerve, and even emergency brakes need a mile to stop. Safety at grade crossings depends entirely on driver vigilance. Use the guidance ahead to recognize warnings early, choose correct stopping points, and clear tracks swiftly every single time. Advance warning signs and pavement markings. Round yellow RXR signs appear 500 to 1,000 feet in advance, signaling you to slow and prepare to stop if needed. White RXR symbols painted on pavement reinforce the approach. Never pass within the zone. Advisory speed plaques beneath the sign indicate the safe speed for the crossing's sight distance. Crossbuck signs and passive crossings. The white crossbuck functions as a yield sign. If no lights or gates exist, you must look, listen, and yield to any approaching train. Stop no closer than 15 feet from the rails when a train is visible and proceed only when you are sure both tracks are clear. Double-track plaques warn that a second train may approach from either direction after the first passes. Active signals and gates. Flashing red lights require a full stop even if no gate descends. Cross only after lights cease, and you confirm all tracks are clear. When gates lower, do not weave around or drive until they rise completely. Trains overhang rails by at least 3 feet on each side. If lights malfunction and no train is visible, treat the crossing as a stop sign and proceed with extreme caution after checking both directions. Stopping distance and stalling protocol. Never shift gears while crossing. A stall on tracks is deadly. Select a low gear before you reach the rails. If your vehicle stalls on tracks and a train is coming, evacuate immediately and run at a 45-degree angle toward the train to avoid flying debris. Call the Emergency Notification System, ENS, number posted on the crossbuck to alert railroad dispatch of the obstruction. Special vehicles and school bus rules. Buses, hazmat tankers, and some commercial vehicles must stop at all passive crossings, lights or not. Be prepared to stop behind them. Do not pass these vehicles within 100 feet of a crossing. They may roll forward and back slightly during double-track checks. Give extra space. Stopping distances for loaded trucks are longer and rollback is possible on grades. Chapter 29 Summary. Treat every crossing as live. Stop for flashing lights or buses ahead, and never gamble on beating an approaching locomotive. Commit to these habits and railroad tracks will remain routine checkpoints instead of collision headlines. Chapter 30. Light Rail. Denver area light rail trains share interchapters with everyday traffic, demanding sharp driver awareness to prevent side impact tragedies. Approaching light rail crossings. Flashing red lights and gates activate as trains approach. Treat them exactly like railroad crossings. Stop and wait until signals cease. Even when gates are up, slow and check both directions. Quiet electric trains can arrive with little warning. Never stop on the tracks in heavy traffic. Ensure you have clear roadway on the far side before entering. Dedicated transit lanes. Some urban corridors feature center-running light rail lanes delineated by striping and signage. Motor vehicles must never drive or stop in these tracks. Left turns across rail lanes are allowed only at signalized interchapters when a green arrow or permissive signal indicates it's safe. Watch for raised delineators. Driving over them risks tire and suspension damage. Signals and signs unique to light rail. A vertical white bar signal, T-bar, indicates trains may proceed. Drivers should obey their standard traffic lights independently. Red traffic arrows accompanied by a train icon prohibit turns across tracks when trains cross the interchapter. No right turn on red. Train signs remind right-turning drivers that trains may enter from behind on cross streets. Pedestrian and cyclist considerations. Expect pedestrians rushing for departing trains. Scan platform edges and crosswalks before moving. Tracks embedded in pavement create narrow flangeways. Cyclists should cross at a right angle to avoid wheel traps. Never overtake a cyclist while both of you traverse tracks. Sudden wheel catch can cause a fall into your lane. Emergency situations on tracks. If your vehicle stalls on embedded tracks, exit immediately and use the emergency phone or call 911 with the crossing number posted nearby. Light rail trains can brake faster than freight trains, but still require hundreds of feet. Assume they cannot stop in time. Do not attempt to push or tow a stuck vehicle off tracks. Let rail control dispatch halt trains first. Chapter 30 Summary. Treat light rail lanes and crossings with the same caution as heavy rail. Stop for signals, never queue on tracks, and anticipate pedestrian dash-outs. Master these habits and the city's sleek trains will glide past while you proceed safely on your way. Chapter 31. Bicyclists. Bicycles are legitimate, legal vehicles in Colorado traffic, entitled to lane space and bound by most of the same rules as cars. Rights and responsibilities. Bicyclists may legally ride in the travel lane and are not required to use shoulders or bike lanes when unsafe or unavailable. They must obey traffic signals and signs, ride with traffic, and use lights after dark, but drivers must never assume compliance. Expect position shifts within the lane as riders dodge potholes, drain grates, or opening car doors. Safe passing and 3-foot law. State law requires motorists to leave at least 3 feet between their mirror and the cyclist when overtaking. If lane width is limited, you may cross a double yellow center line to pass a bicycle when oncoming lane is clear. Complete passes quickly yet smoothly. Abrupt acceleration or close cuts create wind and startle riders. Driver awareness at interchapters. Before right turns, check mirrors and glance over right shoulder. Cyclists may be overtaking on your passenger side. Right hook hazard. When turning left, yield to oncoming bikes. Small size makes their speed easy to misjudge. Look for cyclists continuing straight while you turn across their path. Signal early and yield until they clear. Bike lanes, sharrows, and door zones. Solid white lines and bike symbols denote exclusive bike lanes. Motor vehicles may cross only to turn after yielding. Shared lane markings, sharrows, remind motorists that cyclists may use the full lane where width is insufficient for side-by-side travel. Parked car door zone extends 4 feet. Give extra clearance when passing bikes near parallel parking rows. Hand signals and group riding. Left arm straight equals left turn. Left arm up equals right turn. Left arm down equals slowing/stop. Interpret quickly and give space. Group rides may occupy the lane 2 abreast. Pass only when safe and legal, treating the group as one long vehicle. Expect staggered single-file formations on narrow shoulders. Maintain following distance until a clear pass zone appears. Night riding precautions. Bikes must display a white front light visible 500 feet and red rear reflector or light visible 600 feet, but some riders skip upgrades. Dim high beams when approaching bikes at night. Bright glare blinds riders and hides surface hazards. Slow earlier in darkness or rain. Spray and reflection shrink your ability to judge cyclist speed and position. Chapter 31 Summary. Treat bicyclists as lawful, vulnerable partners. Scan early, pass with a 3-foot buffer, and predict their lane adjustments. Practice these habits daily and Colorado's roads will welcome two-wheel commuters and weekend riders without incident. Chapter 32 Motorcycles. Riders balance on 2 wheels without crumple zones. One glance missed or lane drift from a driver can be fatal. Visibility and blind spots. Motorcycles' slim profiles vanish in mirror blind spots and against cluttered backgrounds. Check mirrors every 5 seconds and glance over shoulder before lateral moves. Look twice at left turns across traffic. Most multi-vehicle motorcycle crashes happen when cars turn left into oncoming riders. At night, single headlight distance can be hard to gauge. Assume the bike is closer than it appears and yield accordingly. Following distance and lane position. Maintain a 4-second following gap. Motorcycles can stop faster than cars, and tailgating blocks your view of road hazards they may dodge. Expect riders to change lane position. Left, center, right. Within the lane to increase visibility or avoid debris. This is normal and legal. If a rider brakes suddenly and swerves, they may be avoiding potholes or oil patches invisible from your vantage. Keep your distance. Passing and lane sharing. Pass motorcycles as you would a car. Use a full adjacent lane. Crowding the bike by sharing the same lane is illegal and dangerous. Large vehicle wind blast can unsettle a motorcycle. Complete the pass quickly yet smoothly, then move back only when you see the bike in your rearview mirror. Never attempt to squeeze between a motorcycle and adjacent vehicle. Lane filtering is legal for motorcyclists, not for cars. Turning paths and brake lights. Motorcycles often slow by downshifting without brake light activation. Watch for subtle deceleration cues like helmet dip or engine sound change. Riders need a full lane to negotiate tight turns. Do not crowd them at interchapters or on-ramp curves. Give extra space when following on gravel or wet pavement. Losing traction is easier for bikes and sudden corrections may follow. Night and weather considerations. Rain and wind reduce motorcycle stability. Crosswinds on open plains can push riders sideways. Allow wide buffers when overtaking. In darkness, single headlights are harder to track in mirrors. Check twice before lane changes and anticipate higher closing speeds. Road spray from your vehicle can blind riders. Pass quickly and merge back only when clear to reduce spray duration. Motorcycle hand signals and group rides. Left arm straight indicates left turn, arm up indicates right turn, and arm down palm backward signals slowing. Decode quickly to adjust. Group riders often travel staggered, past the entire group, not individual bikes within the formation. When a group signals a lane change, allow space for all to merge rather than splitting the formation. Chapter 32 Summary. Seeing, spacing, and respecting motorcycles protects lives. Keep a 4-second gap, use full lane passes, and double-check blind spots. Practice these habits and two-wheel Colorado road users will coexist safely alongside your four-wheel travels. Chapter 33 Pedestrians. People on foot are the most vulnerable users on Colorado roadways. No crumple zones, just clothing and reflexes. Crosswalk right-of-way. Drivers must yield once any part of a pedestrian steps onto a marked or unmarked crosswalk at an interchapter. Stop well before the crosswalk line. Vehicles in other lanes need sight lines to see and yield as well. Remain stopped until the pedestrian reaches at least the center line of the roadway or the far lane on multi-lane roads. Signals and pedestrian phases. Solid walk symbol or walking person means pedestrians may begin crossing. Drivers turning must yield. Flashing don't walk countdown advises walkers already in the crosswalk to finish. Drivers must continue to yield. Solid don't walk means no new pedestrian entry. Drivers may proceed if the crosswalk is clear. Mid-block crossings and RRFBs. Pedestrian-activated rectangular rapid flash beacons, RRFBs, require drivers to stop when lights flash until the crosswalk is empty. At unsignalized mid-block crossings without beacons, slow and yield if a pedestrian is waiting on the curb. Never pass a vehicle stopped at a mid-block crossing. It may hide a pedestrian in the travel lane. School zones and children at play. Reduce speed limits, typically 20 miles per hour. Apply when yellow beacons flash or children are present. Slow early and watch for unpredictability. Yield to crossing guards' handheld stop paddles. Their authority supersedes traffic signals during operation. Expect sudden dart-outs near parked cars. Maintain extra spacing when passing schools during arrival and dismissal times. Visibility and nighttime precautions. Pedestrians in dark clothing may be invisible until headlights illuminate them at 200 feet, slow on residential streets after dusk. Turn on low-beam headlights early in twilight so walkers see you coming. Wet pavement glare and frost-covered windshields multiply nighttime blind zones. Keep glass clean inside and out. Driver courtesy and communication. Make eye contact where possible and wave pedestrians through when yielding. It reduces hesitation and confusion. Avoid inching forward or revving the engine while pedestrians cross. Remain stationary to convey safety. After turning, check mirrors for joggers and dogwalkers entering from behind parked cars. Chapter 33 Summary. Pedestrian safety relies on your early slowdown, patient yield, and clear communication at every crosswalk and corner. Practice these habits daily and walkers will trust your approach, turning crowded streets into cooperative pathways. Chapter 34 Careless/Reckless Driving. Speeding through a yellow, weaving without signals, or tailgating in rage all cross the line from simple error into careless or reckless crime. Legal definitions. Careless driving. Operating without due regard for the width, grade, curves, corners, traffic, or use of the streets and highways. Reckless driving. Operating a vehicle with a willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property. Courts see intent or obvious indifference. A single act, such as 40 miles per hour over the limit, may escalate directly to reckless, bypassing careless. Common behaviors cited. Excessive speeding, street racing, or accelerating toward yellow lights. Tailgating within one car length at highway speed, weaving through traffic or passing on shoulders. Distracted swerving while texting or driving onto sidewalks or bike lanes. Penalties and consequences. Careless. Class 2 traffic misdemeanor, $300 fine, 4 points. Injury raises it to Class 1, 8 points, possible jail. Reckless. Class 2 misdemeanor traffic offense, $300, $1,000 fine, up to 90 days jail, 8 points. Second offense within 5 years can suspend license. A reckless conviction can boost insurance premiums by 50% or trigger cancellation. Avoiding escalation to reckless. Plan extra time. Running late seeds risky impatience. Use cruise control within limits to prevent creep-up speeding on open roads. If anger rises, breathe, count to 10, and drop behind aggressive drivers rather than engaging. Post-citation steps. Do not argue roadside, sign the ticket. Guilt or innocence is decided in court. Consult traffic law attorney if facing reckless charge. Plea bargains may reduce to careless with traffic school completion. Attend recommended defensive driving or anger management courses. Courts often credit proactive learning at sentencing. Chapter 34 Summary. Careless and reckless labels follow behavior, not luck. Every tailgate, weave, or rage rev tilts the scale. Choose calm spacing, legal speed, and patient merges each trip, and these costly, career-damaging charges will never shadow your record. Chapter 35. Tips to avoid becoming an aggressive driver. Stress, delays, and rude maneuvers tempt any driver toward anger, yet aggression only feeds crashes, tickets, and road rage cycles. Plan and prepare ahead. Allow at least 10 extra minutes for every half-hour trip. Buffer time prevents schedule stress that sparks speeding and weaving. Check traffic apps or navigation before departure. Reroute early rather than fume in gridlock. Secure loose items, adjust mirrors, and set climate controls while parked so small annoyances do not pile up in motion. Adopt a courtesy mindset. Treat every driver as a neighbor who makes honest mistakes. Extend the same grace you hope to receive. Wave thank you when someone lets you merge. Positive feedback encourages a chain of courtesy. Yield even when technically having the right of way if it smooths flow and diffuses tension. Control emotional triggers. Use deep breathing or calming music when traffic slows. Anger narrows focus and lengthens reaction time. If another driver cuts you off, count to 10 and focus on maintaining safe, following distance instead of retaliating. Remember, gestures or horn blasts rarely change behavior, but often escalate conflict. Maintain safe space and speed. Follow the 3-second rule to avoid tailgating, a top trigger of aggressive exchanges. Set cruise control within limits on open highways to prevent speed creep and self-induced rushing. Leave escape routes on multi-lane roads. Trapped feelings elevate stress and aggressive impulses. Use signals and communication. Signal at least 100 feet before turns or lane changes. Clear intentions reduce surprises that anger others. Avoid unnecessary horn use. Save it for safety alerts, not venting frustration. Make eye contact and smile when possible. Human connection lowers hostility. When confronted by aggression, do not make eye contact with an enraged driver. Look ahead and create space. Exit busy roads into a well-lit public area or police station if followed or threatened. Call *277 on Colorado highways or 911 if you feel unsafe. Report license number, direction, and behavior. Chapter 35 Summary. Time cushions, courteous signals, calm breathing, and ample space inoculate you against road rage triggers. Practice these habits every commute so impatience never transforms into aggressive, ticket-worthy driving. Chapter 36. Emergencies. Sudden mechanical failures and crash scenes demand calm. Rehearsed actions, panic wastes the seconds that save lives. Brake failure. Pump the brake pedal rapidly. Pressure may return with quick strokes. Shift to a lower gear to let engine braking slow the vehicle while gently applying the parking brake. Steer toward a safe shoulder or soft ditch. Turn off ignition only after stopping to avoid steering lock. Grip the wheel firmly, ease off the accelerator, and allow the vehicle to slow. Do not slam brakes. Correct any pull by steering straight. Once under 20 miles per hour, brake lightly and steer to the shoulder. Activate hazard lights and change the tire while off the travel lane. Stuck accelerator. Shift to neutral immediately to disconnect engine power from wheels. Steer to a safe area while gently braking. Switch off ignition once stopped, leaving key on to avoid steering lock. Check floor mats for obstruction and have throttle linkage inspected before driving again. Engine overheating. Turn off ASC, turn heater to hot and fan to high to draw heat from the engine. If temperature remains high, pull over, shut off engine, and wait 20 minutes before opening hood. Never remove radiator cap while hot. Add coolant slowly with engine idling if necessary. Vehicle fire. Steer to a safe spot away from buildings, shut off engine, and evacuate all occupants immediately. Move at least 100 feet upwind. Do not open the hood, oxygen feeds flames. Call 911. Use an ABC extinguisher only on small fires and only if you can do so safely. Skids on ice or water. For rear wheel skid, look and steer where you want the front wheels to go while easing off the accelerator. For front wheel skid, release brake or accelerator until tires regain grip, then steer smoothly. Avoid sudden inputs. Small corrections regain traction faster. Running off the pavement. Keep a firm grip, ease off gas, and steer straight while wheels slow on the shoulder. When speed drops below 25 miles per hour, signal, check traffic, and gently steer back onto pavement one wheel at a time. Do not yank the wheel. Sharp returns can cause fishtail or rollover. Crash response and reporting. Stop immediately, move vehicles out of traffic if possible, and turn on hazards. Check for injuries, call 911, and render basic first aid without moving victims unless danger exists. Exchange information, photograph the scene, and file a police report if injuries or $1,000 plus damage occurred. Chapter 36 Summary. Emergencies reward rehearsal. Review these steps until your feet and hands know them by memory, freeing your mind for calm decisions. Prepared drivers turn frightening surprises into controlled stops, protecting everyone on the road. Chapter 37. Vehicle Emergencies. Mechanical surprises rarely announce themselves. Pre-planning the right response turns chaos into an orderly stop. Flat tire/blowout. Grip the wheel firmly and keep the vehicle straight while easing off the accelerator. Do not brake hard. Let speed drop below 20 miles per hour, then brake gently and steer to a safe shoulder. Activate hazard flashers and change the tire well away from traffic or call roadside assistance. Pump the brake pedal rapidly to build pressure. Many failures are partial line leaks that regain momentary pressure. Shift into lower gear and use engine compression to slow the vehicle. If necessary, apply parking brake gradually while steering toward a soft shoulder or escape lane. Engine stall/power loss. Shift to neutral, steer to the shoulder, and turn on hazard flashers. Power steering and brakes work but require extra effort. Attempt to restart while coasting if safe. Otherwise, stop completely, set parking brake, and call for help. Avoid stopping in travel lanes. Vehicles approaching from behind may not anticipate your reduced speed. Shift to neutral immediately to disconnect engine power from wheels. Engine may over-rev safely for short periods. Steer toward a safe area and brake gently. Turn off ignition only after stopping to prevent steering lock. Check floor mat placement and have throttle linkage serviced before driving again. Steering failure or power steering loss. If steering becomes stiff, grip firmly and steer with increased force toward the shoulder. Slow gradually with light braking. Abrupt stops on limited steering can cause loss of control. Do not turn off ignition while moving. Many vehicles have steering column locks that engage when key is off. Headlight failure at night. Switch headlight control between low and high beam or wiggle the dimmer switch. Often a faulty relay restores one beam. If lights stay dark, activate hazard flashers and street legal fog or parking lights, reduce speed, and pull off the roadway as soon as safe. Avoid sudden braking. Vehicles behind you may also be visually compromised. Overheated engine. Turn off ASC, turn heater to hot and blower to high to bleed engine heat into the cabin. If temperature gauge stays high, pull over, shut off engine, and wait 20 minutes before opening the hood. Add coolant slowly with engine idling. Never remove radiator cap while hot steam burns are severe. Vehicle fire. Signal and steer off the road, stopping in an open area away from trees and buildings. Turn off ignition, evacuate all occupants, and move at least 100 feet upwind. Call 911. Fight only small engine fires with an ABC extinguisher, keeping the hood just cracked to restrict oxygen. Jump-starting a dead battery. Park donor car close, but not touching. Switch both ignitions off and set parking brakes. Connect red clamps to positive, plus symbol, terminals, black clamp to donor negative, and final black clamp to metal ground on disabled car, not its battery. Start donor, wait 2 minutes, then start disabled car, remove cables in reverse order. Drive 20 minutes to recharge. Chapter 37 Summary. Mechanical crises demand calm minds and rehearsed moves. Shift, steer, slow, and signal before any other action. Memorize these sequences today and tomorrow's unexpected breakdown becomes a controlled, injury-free stop. Chapter 38. Crash Tips. Seconds after a collision, your actions protect lives, secure evidence, and satisfy legal duties. Panic is no substitute for a clear checklist. Immediate scene safety. Stay calm and check for injuries. If possible, move vehicles out of travel lanes to prevent secondary crashes. Colorado, move it law. Activate hazard flashers, set reflective triangles 100 and 200 feet behind if safe, and turn off ignitions to reduce fire risk. If fuel leaks or smoke appears, evacuate occupants at least 100 feet upwind and uphill from the vehicles. Calling for help and providing aid. Dial 911 with location, number of vehicles, and apparent injuries. Follow dispatcher instructions. Render basic first aid. Apply pressure to bleeding. Keep injured warm and still, but do not move victims unless fire or traffic danger exists. If you strike an unattended vehicle, attempt to locate the owner. Otherwise, leave a note with contact info and report to police. Exchange of information and documentation. Exchange names, addresses, phone numbers, driver license numbers, license plates, and insurance details with all drivers involved. Photograph vehicle positions, damage, skid marks, and road signs before moving vehicles, if safe to do so. Collect witness names and phone numbers. Unbiased statements help insurance and legal clarity. Reporting requirements. Colorado requires a police report when injury, death, or total property damage equals $1,000 or more. If law enforcement does not investigate on scene, file an online or walk-in report within 5 days. Failing to report can lead to license suspension and misdemeanor charges. Insurance and legal follow-up. Notify your insurer as soon as practical, even if fault is unclear, to preserve coverage rights. Keep all repair estimates, medical bills, and correspondence. They document claim value and timelines. Consult legal counsel for collisions involving serious injury, disputed fault, or potential litigation. Chapter 38 Summary. Protect life first. Clear the roadway quickly. Document thoroughly and report promptly. This 4-step formula turns a chaotic crash into an orderly recovery. Rehearse these tips now so instinct guides you when adrenaline surges later.